morning. I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm actually on a bit of a quest today. I've got a religious focus. I want to learn a bit more about the temples and Buddhism, but I've also seen a few mosques and churches around the place. So actually, right now I'm opposite the world famous J Phi's restaurant. She's won a Michelin star, and she was also featured on one of Netflix series, what is it called? Chef's Table. And if you haven't had a chance, be sure to check it out. It's fantastic. There's a pretty fair queue there, so I'm not actually going to stop at J Phi's restaurant for breakfast, for brunch, but instead I've just found a temple here, and it's kind of got a really unique shape and structure, a lot of pointy things. So I'm going to learn about this one first. That's my first stop. So if you look over my shoulder, you'll see one of the highest pagodas, or the highest pagodas, or chedis in all of Bangkok. So I'm going to go there second. If you stick with me today, you're going to find out a lot more about some of the religious sites here in Bangkok. This temple here is called Wat Ratchanadda. Now it's also nicknamed it also has a nickname as the Metal Castle. It's the metal spires sticking out of it. Now the name Ratchanadda actually means the temple of the royal niece, and indeed this was built by King Rama III for his granddaughter in 1846. There's 37 metal spires on this temple, and the 37 spires represent the 37 virtues that are required to reach enlightenment. The 36-meter high metal castle consists of 3 levels. The bottom level has 24 spires, the middle level 12 spires, and the top has only one spire, so that totals 37 spires. There's only 2 other structures that are the same as this in the world. There's one that was built in India, and there's another one in Sri Lanka as well. And neither of those exist today, so this is a one-of-a-kind temple. So I'm now inside the temple, and it's kind of like a maze. Really like it. It's made up of 1,000 rooms. Don't even know where I'm going, but I like it. As you can imagine, it's very peaceful in here, very cool. Plenty of places for sitting and meditating. These great stools for meditation and reflection. Yeah. It's a really unique place. I had no idea from the outside that it was like this. There's a few exhibits, and I'll see if I can get some footage of those. So this here outlines the first 3 kings of the Chakri dynasty. King Rama I, Rama II, and Rama III. Now Rama III was known as the temple builder. So this little image here talks about the first 3 kings and where they tend to have their focus or their affinity. So it's the first king, Rama I, his favourites were the warriors. King Rama II, his favourites were the poets. that King Rama III, he favoured the construction and the master craftsmen, and it was during his reign that we saw a massive amount of temples being built in Bangkok, including this one where we are today, known as Loha Prasat. Here's a really good model, a cross-section of Loha Prasat, and you can see down the bottom, this is where I've just been walking around in the maze-like area. And you can see the three distinct layers, the first, the second, and then the third. So it's really a remarkable building here. If you're in Bangkok, definitely check it out. I'm now on the second level, the second tier, and it's got some wonderful Buddha images surrounding this area, and there's also a library. There's a lot of books here as well, and it's quite nice, very peaceful once again. They've also got some wise sayings dotted around the place. The moment one does a righteous thing, that moment is auspicious. A mindful person is blessed with good luck at all times. Wise words. Let me tell you about King Rama III. King Rama III, when he passed away, he had 51 children. However, none of them went on to become king. His successor was actually his brother. On King Rama III's deathbed, he was quoted as saying, "Our wars with Burma and Vietnam were over. Only the threat of the Westerners was left to us. We should study their innovations for our own benefits, but not to the degree of obsession or worship." He himself actually did study a lot of European education, literature, architecture, and you can see that during his reign that influence was quite evident. But he warned of this kind of concept of an obsession. During King Rama III's reign, it was actually a very wealthy period of time. Trade with China was on the increase, and what was most peculiar was that the profits that the king generated, he actually kept them in a red bag next to his bed. And it was commonly known that was his red purse money. Now, Naklao, that's what King Rama III's name is, Naklao. Naklao stipulated that the red purse money that he earned through his business acumen here is the third floor up, but I'm not at the top level just yet. And this is the meditation walk. So it's actually, there's a guy meditating behind me. I'm not going to disturb him. But this is actually a beautiful, beautiful area for meditation, walking meditation. Now on the fourth floor, and the fourth floor is reserved for seated meditation. I'm nearly at the top, and look over there, that's the direction of Khao San Road, just to help you get your bearings. Fantastic view up here, 360 panorama of the city. You can see quite a few landmarks. Just behind me is the big golden jetty where we're going to go next. You can see the State Tower, which is right next to the Chao Phraya River. I can see the giant swing just over there, and just over here we've got the four wing-like structures, which is the Democracy Monument, and then a massive bridge in the background. It's fantastic here. So the King Rama III, during his reign, he was very profitable because of his business acumen. And what he did that was kind of unusual was that he kept all of his profits in a red purse next to his bed. And this became kind of known as the red purse money. Now, the aim of this, the purpose of this red purse money was to be only used to help benefit the people. In particular, if during this time you can just trace back to the Dutch, the British and the French were colonising a lot of different neighbouring countries. So he wanted to have some money set aside in case he indeed needed to buy back some land that was claimed by one of the colonial powers at the time. And indeed this did come in handy in a future incident called the Pak Nam incident, which involved kind of a conflict with the Siam government, or the Siam, with the Siam and with the French. And there's some lands that were around near the Mekong area and the Laos area. And indeed, some of this red purse money had to be used to actually settle the disagreements, to help come to some kind of a resolution. The red purse money was indeed used. Okay, now I've just finished here. I'm now going to walk over to Wat Saket. Now, Wat Saket is it's basically the only hill in all of Bangkok, and it was an artificially made hill. So I want to go over there and learn a little bit more about Wat Saket, this famous temple here in Bangkok. So let's go. It's got some interesting rock down here in this basement. Not the basement, the ground floor level. It's kind of that laterite volcanic rock, which I actually saw a lot of when I was in Buriram recently. Here near Loha Prasat, the King Rama III statue is right there, just outside of what's nicknamed the metal temple here in Bangkok. I've just arrived here to the statue of King Rama III. His name was Nang Kao. He's known as the temple building king in Thailand here. He is the third king of the Chakri dynasty. Now I just want to learn a little bit more about this guy because today's video is a focus on temples and religion in Thailand. So this guy may be able to shed some light on the influence of religion here in Thailand and how it's really shaped and influenced the architecture here in Bangkok. So Thailand is considered a Buddhist country and it follows Theravada Buddhism. Now, when it comes to religion in Thailand, there's actually a lot of folk religion and animist beliefs as well that is kind of encapsulated in the Buddhist style here in Thailand. And you can see that in everyday life here with people you meet and the customs of the people here in Thailand. So Thai folk religion is kind of a bit of a combination of Hinduism and Buddhism as well, with also some local traditional beliefs mixed in as well. This religious style can be traced back to some of the ethnic communities here in the region, particularly from the Khmer area and also from the north, from the Chinese, from the hill tribe, Hmong area. Now, a lot of the Thai folk follows the animist belief. Now, animist, if you're not sure what that is, it's the belief that all living things do indeed have a spirit. So the animist belief basically believes that animate objects actually indeed have a spirit and a soul. We're talking about things like animals, plants, but even weather systems and rivers. So they all have their own spirit, and that they are all actually living beings. They are animated living beings. So the animists have a focus on the metaphysical universe. So there's a very deeply spiritual nature to those who follow their animist belief. On the walk from Loha Prasat to Wat Saket, there's a nice little park here and it's called Charcoal Alley. And it's right next to the Klong, one of the main Klongs where lots of boats used to carry charcoal and they used to deliver it here. Now we're also right next to one of the big forts here as well. A lot of these forts dotted around the Ratchanaddaram area, and this one's just being painted, so it looks quite striking. Anyway, it's a nice little park for a walk. Indeed arrived to the Golden Mountain, the Golden Mount, Wat Saket here in Bangkok, and it's a buzzing with people. In particular, there's a lot of Burmese here. Got the stickers, badges on with the Myanmar flag and traditional kind of Burmese outfits. I'm not entirely sure why. but it just adds to the flavour and the colour of the place. As you can hear, there's the glanging gongs in the background as well. So here's a map. Here's Wat Ratchanaddaram. So we've just walked along Haroon Mosque, and we are now, you are here, we're about to go up, so we're going to walk around and around until we get to the top. That's the plan. Now at the base there's actually a lot of graves here, and then it's really quite striking how they've been kind of put into the base of this mountain. I'll sketch some footage for you, but they're really interesting at the base here. Yeah, loads and loads of graves, and they're really kind of embedded within nature here. There's no straight lines at all, so it's all curvy, and even the concreting here is just kind of being slapped on and made to look a bit like nature-y, with a kind of a rippled effect. Really quite eerie as well, particularly with the jangling gongs in the background. So the gold leaf here, you can, for a small donation, you could purchase a gold leaf, write your prayer, your wishes for your loved ones, and hang it on as a prayer and a hope. Okay, so another one of the themes of today is about King Rama 3. So we've got King Rama 1, King Rama 2, and then King Rama 3. And you can see what the temple or the Chedi was like before he did all of his renovations. So he has actually added a lot to this area here. It's an unusual kind of experience at the top of Wat Saket. I can't say I feel very spiritual here. I'll tell you why. It is mostly because it's probably just a tourist stop for many people. So they're just here to take a few photographs, or just to hang out. There are more people looking outside, looking at the view rather than the Chedi. But there's a couple of people who are actually here for some kind of a spiritual quest. And I can't help it. It's not a real feeling of meditation or or spirituality here. I'll just give you one more example. There's a dude who was just sitting down here watching TikTok on his phone, had volume absolutely maximum. That just kind of ruined the spiritual nature of this place. So if you're after spiritual enlightenment, don't come to Wat Saket. But if you want a really good view of the city, and it actually is a pretty impressive structure because this whole thing is man-made. Now I'm going to find a quieter spot and I'll tell you a little bit more about Wat Saket. The story goes in 1820 there was a massive cholera problem and there were a lot of dead bodies, and this is the area where the monks would prepare them and prepare them for cremation or burial. Now the problem is that the cholera was racking up so many deaths that the bodies just kept piling up higher and higher, and there was delay in some of the burial activities, so therefore the vultures were attracted to the meat. So this area here became known as Vulture Temple or Vulture Mountain, because there were so many vultures here dining on the rotting corpses that were in this on this mountain here. So when you come to Wat Saket, so when you come to Wat Saket, be sure to have a look at the vulture display. It's quite harrowing. See with a graphic image of the body there with its guts all open and the vultures are pecking on it. What a grisly sight. So let me tell you about Wat Saket. Wat Saket is the only hill in all of Bangkok. And this temple dates way back to the Ayutthaya period. It was originally called Wat Saket, but King Rama I changed it to Wat Saket, changed the name of it to Wat Saket. So when King Rama I declared that Bangkok was to be the capital, that was the time when King Rama I decided to renovate this temple and change its name to Wat Saket. Wat Saket, interestingly enough, translates to washing of hair. The concept was, where this name came from, was basically that when the king went off to battle, went off to war, it was this area here where he stopped to wash his body and wash his hair before he returned back to the actual, to the king, to the kingdom, to the royal palace. So this was the area where he used to wash his hair. That's why it's called Wat Saket. Now it was King Rama I's grandson, that's King Rama III, who is known as the temple builder, decided to renovate and make this huge mountain. So it was King Rama III, who's nicknamed the Temple Builder, who decided to build a massive chetty here. Now he had a lot of soil trucked into the place. Well, not on trucks, but you know what I mean. A lot sent into this place to build this huge kind of a chetty structure, but on some kind of like an artificial mountain. Now he built it with very soft sand, soft soil, sandy kind of soil, so it actually did collapse. So it couldn't support the weight of the chetty. So this collapsed, and then it was just basically abandoned. So it actually became overgrown with a lot of weeds and vegetation, so much so that the locals actually thought it was a natural hill and not actually a man-made hill. So after decades of being an abandoned kind of a man-made hill, It was King Rama IV, King Rama IV who decided to actually build a chedi, some kind of a chedi on top of this mountain. But it wasn't completed actually until King Rama V. Now it was in this area here, there was a law at the time which wouldn't allow any cremations of bodies within the city centre. So therefore all the dead bodies had to actually be brought to this place for cremation. So this became known as actually a ghost temple. King Rama III was very well versed in government affairs and in particular trade. He was also very wary that the problems of international trade could actually present. So he was very, very careful when dealing with other countries. But he also was very shrewd to collect a lot of tax when he indeed there was trade with other countries. And he actually amassed a fortune through these taxes, but also built a lot of good business relations and was very well respected by the people who worked close by, because he was very shrewd with his money, with business dealings. He actually got the nickname the trading boss. He also showed particular generosity as well, not only with the people with royal rank, but with common people as well. King Rama III was particularly fond of education, and anyone who showed a little bit of promise with academics, he would support them and help them get more education. He greatly valued education. It was King Rama III who actually made Wat Chetapon the centre of knowledge and learning. So it was King Rama III who cleverly navigated the time when the colonial powers were taking charge of neighbouring countries. He believed that he needed to have to learn from the Westerners, but not to become blind followers of the Western ways. So he skillfully navigated Siam and Thailand through the period so it actually did not become colonised. So remarkably, during this time, Thailand has always remained a free and independent country. Now the next stop, I finished here learning about Wat Saket and learning more about King Rama III. I'm now going to head to Wat Sampheng. Now from what I understand, Wat Sampheng has some connection with the Sampheng market in Chinatown. So I'm going to get on my bike, head down there and see what I can learn about Wat Sampheng. Seen a few temples. This temple here is without question one of the most beautiful. The massive golden Buddha in the seated Mara position, which is beautiful. But then the vihan that it is housed in, and the images that are painted on the wall, it's just so beautiful. It's really, really impressive. I love this temple. So I'm new to Bangkok, so I'm travelling around trying to explore and learn a lot about, as much as I can, about Thailand, in particular Bangkok. So today I've started here at this magnificent temple. It's one of the best temples I've ever seen. It's just so beautiful inside. And my quest today is basically trying to learn a little bit more about religion and religious sites here in Bangkok, in particular around the Ratchanaddaram and Rak and Sampangtawong area, around the Chinatown kind of area. This wat here is called Wat Suthat Thepwararam. It's a royal temple of the first grade, and there's only 10 of these in all of Bangkok. There's 23 in total in Thailand, but there's only 10 first grade temples in all of Bangkok. So this is very special, this one. The construction of this temple began during the period of King Rama I in 1807. Further construction and decorations were also carried out by King Rama II, but it was not. This whole temple here was not complete until King Rama III, King Rama III, and it was completed in 1847. Around the lower areas of this, you'll see a lot of Chinese pagodas. And there's actually 28, and that symbolises the 28 Buddhas that have been born to this earth. In total, there's more than 150 Buddha images in this here temple. Now, the Buddha image in this Vihan is actually from the Sukhothai period, and it's 800 years old. Now, this image was cast in bronze in 1361. And it was initially installed in Sukhothai. And then it was actually left when Sukhothai kingdom fell. It was actually left, it just took in ruin for centuries. And it was exposed to the elements. But it was not until 1808 that King Rama had this image floated down the Chao Phraya River. And when it arrived, it was actually so big that they couldn't get it through the city walls. So they actually had to smash down the city walls to get this image into the city. Now, King Rama I actually helped with this. He physically helped smash the walls down and physically helped drag the Buddha image from the river to where it is here in this temple. He led the procession, and it was noted that he did this all barefooted. Now, he put so much effort into this. Now, it was observed that he was actually not travelling so well, but this was so important to him that he wanted to get the job done. So his aides were suggesting that he rest, but he brushed them off and continued helping with the transferring of this Buddha image. Now, the last act, once they finally got this Buddha image into its place, the last act was to hoist the image. He helped hoist this massive image into place, and when he did this, he whispered to his assistant, King Rama I whispered to his assistants that his work was done. Unbelievably, within hours, he actually passed away. So this was his last act, moving this Buddha image into place. giant swing. It's the most peculiar landmark, and I'm going to go and have a bit of a look at that because it is actually kind of part of this temple here. Most peculiar feature here are these throne-like structures that are dotted around the perimeter of this vihan. Now I can tell it's a vihan because we have the semistone, and we've got them, as I can see, 3 at the rear here, and 1, 2, 3, I think there's 8 semistones. But then we've also got these really cool archways here as well. The most peculiar perimeter of this vihan. So not only the inside is great, but the outside is great here as well. So here's this archway, these really cool archways. I feel special sitting on this throne. I hope I'm not breaking some religious taboo by sitting here. It does feel good. I like it. Now, I've got a little cool breeze coming in, and I think we're going to in for a little shower. So it might be time for me to retreat to a cafe for a while. One other thing I find that's most unique about Thailand is the rain. We're in the rainy season at the moment. Now, I'm at this temple. Now, if you look over here, it's all dry, completely dry. Now, if I walk about, what is it, about 25 meters, I get to an area where it was raining. It's just remarkable how like isolated or the rain is here in Thailand. You start to kind of, now I've been living here for a couple of years, I start to make decisions based on the rain, which are basically, oh, should I go out? It's like, well, it's raining here, but is it raining at the end of my street? So here, this area here, wet, it was raining here. So yeah, end up using, so life in Bangkok, you end up using weather apps a lot. You don't just look at the weather in Bangkok. You need to be very specific about which area you're at and where you're going. So you need satellite image apps to make your decision when traveling around Bangkok. That's my pro tip. Download a really good weather app when you're in Bangkok so you don't miss out on any action. I'll give you another story. Yesterday I looked at the weather app and it seemed like it was going to rain, so I thought, okay, I'm not going to go out and film today. In the end, it didn't rain at all. So moral of the story is, check the weather, but don't let the weather dictate your fun. So, check the weather app, and it appears the giant swing, which is about 100 meters away, is indeed dry. In fact, it's dry here now. So it rained over there, not over here. So I'm going to go to the giant swing now and have a bit of a look at that and tell you what it's all about. Yes, there are indeed 8 semistones outside this Wat. And these archways, which are guarded by, they don't look very scary. Looks like some comic duo, comedy act. They don't look intimidating at all. Just leaving Wat Suthat now, and I am heading to the giant swing. Now Wat Suthat is fantastic. If you ever get the chance, be sure to visit that temple. It's absolutely beautiful. is a curious sight. There's the big temple just here, Wat Suthat, and then right next to it is the Vishnu temple. So, starting to understand that Hinduism and Buddhism, there's a big connection there here in Thailand. I need to find out a little bit more about that. Once I find out, I'll let you know. This is the giant swing. Now, back in the good old days, there actually used to be a swing. They used to have the ropes and a big plank, so men would stand on the planks. Now, the idea just nearby, they'd have little bags of money. So the guys would swing and swing and swing and then jump to try and catch the bag of money, and if they did, it's theirs. So this kind of a tradition happened for quite a few years, but they put a stop to it because few of the people who were participating ended up dying. They were swinging so high and they were landing, so they actually had too many deaths. So they put an end to the actual swing competition. Now it's just this curious monument out here in Bangkok. And it's just out in front of Wat Suthat Thepwararam Worawihan. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong, but just please forgive me. I'm new to Bangkok and I'm learning. And in fact, that's what these videos are all about. Me learning about Bangkok and this marvelous city and sharing what I learn with you all. Wat Suthat Thepwararam Worawihan. I've been learning Thai. And I'm not very good at it. That bus looks pretty cool. It's a Thai bus food tour. Now we're actually pretty close to J5. She's a Michelin star chef. She's got a restaurant just around the corner, and she was featured in the popular Netflix series called Chef's Table. If you haven't had a chance, check it out. She's a real character. So I've made it to the temple called Wat Samphangtawongsaram Worawihan. And this is a very old temple. It dates back to the Ayutthaya period. Now, the surrounding area used to actually be surrounded by a canal, and that canal would be connected with the Chao Phraya River. However, that's no longer the case. Because of progress, the canal's been filled in and roads have replaced canals. But nonetheless, this is a very impressive temple. Let's go and have a closer look and learn a little bit about Wat Sampangtawong. This temple was built by King Rama I during his reign. So the nickname, this one used to be Wat Ko. Ko is the Thai word for island. And the reason it was called that, it was surrounded by a canal, and that's why it was called the Island Temple. Now, King Rama I was the one who actually invested a fair bit of resources and energy in renovating this, but this temple here dates back to the Ayutthaya period. So a second major renovation occurred during the reign of King Rama II, and then a third renovation occurred during the reign of King Rama III, who's known as the Temple King. So during the reign of King Rama IV, he was the one that actually renamed this to Wat Samphengtawong, and the name was to honour the Prince Samphengtawong, and that was King Rama I's nephew. And that nephew was actually in charge of all the major renovations. Interestingly, this whole district has later on became known as Sampanthawong district, and Sampanthawong district is famous for Chinatown. Now, during these early times, there's actually a bit of a grisly past. This is actually the temple where a lot of executions occurred. Now, the executions not of anyone, but of the royals who were convicted of crimes. The executions were carried out without any blood being spilled, because whoever was being executed was put in a velvet sack. They were put in a velvet sack, and then they were hit with a sandalwood club. You can imagine them lying on their stomach, their head back, and the sandalwood would be smashed on the back of their neck. Or the other alternative method, they would be on their back, and the sandalwood club would smash their sternum until they ceased living. Now, apparently, the slab where these executions took place, so they'd lie them on a slab, still is in this temple. So I'm going to have a little look around and see if I can find this execution stone. So I've had a look around, and sadly I can't find the execution stone. I found at the back of the temple there's a lot of tombs of the deceased, but I can't find the execution stone. Anyway, not to worry, time to move on. As I said, it's a nice temple, but not one of the best temples I've ever seen. Unfortunately, there's some construction going on nearby as well, which kind of ruins a temple experience. They did have some nice music inside, soft, gentle music, but when someone's hammering, I can't really get into a what you might call a meditative state. It's a bit hard to do so. So I've just checked Google Maps, and just nearby is Wat Keaw Jam Fa, and it has a kind of an interesting history. So I'm going to go and walk over there, and when I get there I'll tell you all about it. Arrived to Wat Keaw Jam Fa, and it's a magnificent looking temple. Just get a load of that. So this temple was actually built in the Ayutthaya period, and it was built by the 16th Ayutthaya king, and it was called Khao Pha because that correlates to the name of the 14th king in the Ayutthaya period. Now the semistone, which is just behind me, was actually built and placed here in 1571, and you can see the incense just burning in front of it, so it was quite a nice scent coming from here. Nice kind of peaceful feeling here on the steps of this magical old temple. Now this is also the place where one of the largest reclining Buddhas are found as well, so let's go and have a look at that. So the main reason we're here is just because it's such a ancient piece, but it's still very active, as you can see from my video footage. So to have such an old temple being in such good condition but being very active today is really reassuring and makes me feel good. I've just looked up Google Maps and there's another temple nearby, and it's called Wat Maha Phruettharam Worawihan. And it also has a large reclining Buddha. In fact, it's supposed to be the second largest in Bangkok. Hang on, let me just check my notes. Yes, second largest reclining Buddha, after the reclining Buddha of Wat Ko and on Ratchanatdaram Island. So let's go and have a look at the second largest reclining Buddha, which is just nearby. The wax monks always freak me out, but that one in particular freaked me out. I walked around the corner, I saw him looking at me with his teeth, rotten teeth, and it gave me quite a startle. Now this temple here, I'm quite struck by the number of tombs that are here around, not scattered, are placed neatly all around the temple. Because it's a temple with such a long history, it kind of makes sense that so many people have had their remains placed here in this temple. But it's just full of inscriptions and ashes. One of the hazards of temple tours is you take your shoes on and off a lot, and I just took my shoes off. Started talking and looking, got distracted, and then I've just forgotten where I put my shoes, so I'm going to go and find my shoes. Just to make matters worse, I did just step into a puddle of water as well, so my left sock is wet. So that building there is the crematorium. That's where the bodies are placed during the ceremony. Maybe famous for the second largest reclining Buddha, but I think it's famous for cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cats at the front to greet you. Oh, 7 over there. Oh my, oh my. Have a look at this. Yeah, I didn't get too close, but there's a body in there. It's like a mummified monk. Grisly, if you ask me. There's a very common statue you'll see around Thailand. It's Wat Yin, who is the goddess of mercy. This one's got four big chetties structures in the middle of it too. It's actually a pretty impressive temple. I'm about the only one here, and a few cats. It's actually really good. Now I'm going to go inside and have a closer look. This temple here is called Wat Maha Phruettharam Worawihan, and it's a very, very old monastery. And the exact origins of this place are actually unknown. The name of the temple is derived from the legend about the legendary king of Ayutthaya, U Thong, who escaped a cholera endemic, which was spreading seriously at the time. And when he travelled by wagon, he came to this park here in this place, and he rested here. This was kind of an area where travellers could rest. Later, King Mongkot, King Rama IV, named this temple Wat Tha Kwian, and he jointly built the new temple with his son Prince Chulalongkorn, who is King Rama V. What this temple is famous for is the beautiful murals that are on the wall, and also it is home to the second largest reclining Buddha in Thailand. And it is actually a really, really wonderful temple. I find this temple far more impressive than the Golden Mount, Wat Saket. This one is far more beautiful, and it's far more, say, a spiritual experience. It's I feel far more, I don't know how to describe it, but this feels good. This temple feels wonderful. This is definitely worth visiting if you're in the Baan Rak area. In particular, the Vihan, the murals on the wall there are simply stunning. There's a really dark inside. You know, the period that this was actually built, there's not a lot of windows at all. So it's really dark in there. So it kind of creates a certain atmosphere, kind of a contemplative atmosphere. But yeah, special place, this one. Very special. Now, where next? Now, I have been coming across some elements of Hinduism today. Now, I've just been looking at Google Maps, and right nearby is in fact a Hindu temple. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a look at that. I want to make this connection between Hinduism and Buddhism here in Thailand, because I think it's over 90 or over 90% of the population are Buddhist. But you can see through the temple visit today, there's a lot of connections with Hinduism as well. So I'm going to explore. I'm going to go to a Hindu temple, see if I can learn a little bit more about that. So I've just been reading, religion in Thailand has a fascinating cultural history. Okay, so in Thailand, excluding the law that states the king must be Buddhist, there is no official religion in Thailand, meaning that all Thai people have complete religious freedom, except if you're the king. However, Buddhism is the most common religion, with approximately 95% of the population indicating that they are indeed Buddhist. Of the remaining 5%, Muslims make up about just over 4%. Catholic Christians are just below 1%, and the remaining 1% is Hindu, Sikh, and Jewish religions.